Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady. Welcome back. I want to just dive right in. We have an awesome, amazing guest here today, Genevieve Piturro. I want to talk to you, or have you talk to our audience, since you're the expert, about, discovering purpose in career transitions and purpose in the workplace, but really talking about the human connection in leadership and management. So what are your thoughts on this?
Human connection to me is next to purpose, two pillars. Those are the two pillars of success in any organization. And I know that people used to say to me, and I used to believe it, look at the power of one. Oh my goodness, one person, one idea. And, several years in, I knew it sounded wrong. And what I realized was it is not the power of one that changes things. It's the power of one another that moves mountains and moves people. And I know this because I was so afraid to tell people what my heart wanted to do, even 6 months in doing it, because I thought they're going to think I'm crazy. Nobody's going to understand. I have a responsibility. I have a mortgage. And I was so right the first time I spoke it out loud to a woman who was a diehard corporate ladder climber. She thought I was crazy and I had no answers to her questions. But when I got the courage up to continue to tell the story, the rest of the people who wanted to hear just supported me. And I tell people all the time, talk about what you love to do. Ask questions. Ask other people, what are they doing? Are they doing what they want to do? How can you help? How can you support? And you would be amazed at how, if you are opening up to someone as a leader, talking about what you love to do in your spare time, what your vision is for the company, and you ask for thoughts, and you ask how they might be interested. Are they interested in hearing more? The world opens up and you attract all the right people. You don't have to attract everybody. You just have to attract your people. And that connection, that bond is so strong. The inspiration that a leader has to attract people to share a vision is the formula for success. A leader will go 10 times farther and higher and faster by inspiring those and sharing what's important and bringing them into the fold than thinking he can do it himself or only with others who are at the leader level.
Building those bonds, those connections, workplace relationships. And in a recent NBorder poll, the majority of respondents, 93%, reported feeling connected to their coworkers. When broken down, over half, 56%, felt highly connected, while more than 1/3, 37%, felt somewhat connected. That's important because it's a 10% increase from years past, when just 83% felt connected to their coworkers and 31% felt highly close. Back to you.
Yeah, those stats are amazing. And I just think, and Genevieve, you tell us, what your thoughts are on this. Like, the younger generations, they demand connection. And if we want to recruit and retain, or even if you don't, you got no choice, because baby boomers are going to retire eventually. And so are Gen X, I hope, because I'm one of them. But I definitely find that the youngest generations, they not only desire, they demand human connection. And if you don't give it to them, they'll go somewhere else. What are your thoughts about that?
Yes, I agree. And, we talked about it earlier in one of our segments, emotion. There was never a place for emotion in the workplace, but the world is driven by emotion more than ever. We crave emotion. Maybe it was COVID that brought it to light. Maybe it was just going to happen anyway by being separated from people in a business atmosphere. You don't feel, you don't talk about your feelings. You don't allow your own stories to get, to have air. But the world is driven by emotion, and emotion is driven by purpose. And it's amazing the difference in what was Casey was saying about how people feel about each other when we let that emotion out and when we share it.
Yeah, that's so important that I'm over here nodding my head about the COVID part. I was like, yeah, that's actually a really good point of that. Since COVID, people are like, hey, I need to connect with people. I feel like JC has something to say here.
Yeah, just thinking about this on the totality, when we're thinking about empathy, compassion, authentic connections. It's not necessarily writing a name on a notebook and making sure you say that, the exact verbatim things every time. Building those authentic connections. What are some practical strategies that we could maybe employ? Would you be willing to share a thought or two on that, Genevieve?
Yes, sure. I think every leader is leading with a vision, or the best leaders are leading with a vision. And a vision often comes because of a story. I had the story of the little girl. That changed everything. And I think to run a successful organization, there are stories, human stories, that landed you in the position of leading and making the decisions you're making. Besides making money and wanting to be a successful leader, I think something happened to point you in the direction of the company you've started if you're a founder, or the reason that you want to reach more people and with your product, with your service. And I think that story needs to become the story that everyone in your organization has top of mind to share it. So instead of saying, we make boxes, you say, we started this company because the founder met people who were trying to move, and they had nothing to move with, and they lost everything. And we rallied and we found a way to help them get their things together. And we were able to move them when they weren't able to move without us before that. Anything where there's a story about something that happened to someone and you helped is really what will spread your story and your vision, rather than just saying we can make a box really cheaply.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to episode 3 of our 5-part series with Genevieve Piturro on human connection and the power of purpose, who she says are the 2 pillars of success for an organization. And on a side note, if you're looking for a quick and enlightening way to start your day, consider checking out JC's daily podcast, Interesting Things with JC. The podcast lasts just 2 to 5 minutes and is perfect for fitting into your busy workday. You could find it on all the podcast platforms. If I can get that out there. That was a mouthful. Interesting Things with JC. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back with episode 4.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.